Hello, I'm Jeffrey Sachs. I'm University Professor at Columbia University and President of the United Nations Sustainable Development Solutions Network. And I want to thank the people of Germany for calling for peace in Ukraine, calling for peace in Gaza. We have a problem everywhere. People everywhere in the United States, in Britain, across the European Union want peace. But our leaders are warmongers, and they continue these wars. They abet these wars. They support these wars financially and with armaments. They are warmongers in their expressed hatred of the other side. And most importantly, our leaders do not engage in diplomacy to find a way to peace. Now, the German government is saying, oh, you can't talk to the Russians. You can't negotiate with the Russians. They don't want to negotiate. But the fact is, it's Germany that doesn't negotiate. It's Europe that doesn't negotiate. It's the United States that doesn't negotiate. Let's look at the facts. The United States and the Soviet Union negotiated the Anti-Ballistic Missile Treaty, signed in 1972. Who broke the treaty? The Soviet Union? No. Russia? No. The United States broke the Anti-Ballistic Missile Treaty. In the year 1990, Chancellor Helmut Kohl and President Mikhail Gorbachev negotiated the reunification of Germany, including the clear and unequivocal promise that NATO would not enlarge, that NATO would not expand 1 inch eastward. Who broke that agreement? The Soviet Union? No. Russia? No. That was Germany and the United States that broke the agreement. No sooner had unification occurred than German politicians started to advocate the expansion of NATO and brought the United States along as well, in complete violation of what had been agreed. In February 2014, Europe and President Putin and President Yanukovych made an arrangement for early elections in Ukraine late in 2014, signed off by European Union foreign ministers. Who broke that agreement? The Russians? No. The United States and Europe broke the agreement because the U.S. promoted a coup on February 22nd, 2014. And though it was completely contradictory to what the European foreign ministers had just agreed the day before, Europe snapped into line with the United States. And so the coup was confirmed by the U.S. and Europe. And what did that coup produce? It produced a war because the new puppet government in Kiev, brought in by the United States and Europe in a coup, said NATO enlargement now to us, to Russia's border. The war began. Then, who negotiated the next agreement, the Minsk II agreement? Well, that would be Germany and France and the United States and Ukraine and Russia supported the Minsk II agreement, and it was ratified in the UN Security Council. And who broke the Minsk II agreement? Russia? No. The United States and Germany and France, the guarantors of the Minsk II agreement. Remember what former Chancellor Merkel said about the Minsk II agreement? Oh, that was just to buy time for Ukraine to gain its strength. Then, in April 2022, when the war escalated with Russia's invasion of Ukraine on February 24th, 2022, within weeks, an agreement was reached between Ukraine and Russia to end the war on the basis of Ukraine's return to neutrality. In other words, no NATO enlargement. Who broke that agreement that was initialed by Ukraine and Russia on April 15th, 2022? Russia? No. The United States and the United Kingdom, who went and told their puppet, Zelensky, you fight on for us. No neutrality. We'll back you. So who failed in diplomacy? Now, the German government has said repeatedly, and I've listened carefully, you can't negotiate with the Russians. They don't want to negotiate. It's very funny. It's the United States that walked out of the Anti-Ballistic Missile Treaty. It's the United States that walked out of the Intermediate Nuclear Force Treaty. It's the United States and Germany that walked out of the promise not to expand NATO. It's the United States, Germany, and France that walked out of guaranteeing the Minsk II agreement. It's the United States and the UK that told Ukraine, keep fighting. Don't settle for neutrality, as in the April 2022 agreement in the Istanbul process. And then the German government has the temerity to tell its people that Russia doesn't want diplomacy? Honest to goodness, ladies and gentlemen, what are we going to do with our governments? They lie to us. They bring us closer to nuclear war. They cheat. They reach agreements that they don't keep. They fake these agreements. They claim that Russia never wants to have diplomacy. How many times has Chancellor Merz tried to speak to President Putin? I think that would be 0. How many times has Foreign Minister Vadaful met with his counterpart, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov? I think that would be 0. So your government, my government, Starmer, Macron, want to march us to war without even trying diplomacy. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a disgrace. It's a shame of our governments that they don't act like grown-ups with honesty, and that they propose to lead us to war without even trying diplomacy. Thank you for standing up for peace. We need diplomacy. Your foreign minister should go to Moscow or invite his counterpart to come to Germany to speak, to discuss the issues of security on both sides, to hammer out in detail security arrangements for Ukraine, for Russia, and for Europe, not to go mindlessly to war that could kill us all. So thank you for doing what we need to do everywhere. We need to regain the voice of the people in our politics. We are led by warmongers, but our nations are people that want peace. So I'm so grateful to you today for your efforts for peace. They are efforts not only for Germany, they are efforts for the whole world to find the path to peace, and we are all grateful for that. Thank you.